Morning, third graders. Your lesson for math for Wednesday, April 8th is called Comparing Fractions. So I'm going to start with some quick look cards today. You look at the card and then you think of what it is. Okay? If you're thinking about the answer for that one, the answer you could say 1/2 or 2/4. When you look at it, the whole has a dark line around it. So the whole circle, you could go with that you saw half of it shaded, or you could go with 2/4 that were shaded. Here's your next one. Okay, for that one, you could go with 1/2 being shaded because you see the dark line, that's the whole. Or you could go with 2/2 being shaded. Okay, last one. Okay, for that one, you could say 1/2. It's the only one I can think of for that, yeah. 1/2. Here's the whole. And of the whole, half of it is shaded. Okay, now I'm going to show you another paper, because today we're going to talk about a benchmark. And in order to show you the benchmark, I need to show you the next paper. So we've got a paper with a circle, rectangle, and a triangle. And our benchmark is kind of the idea that we're thinking of when we look at each shape to judge the fraction. So the benchmark is the idea or the number that we're thinking of to judge what the fraction would be. So we're going to use 1/2 as our benchmark. So when we look at each one of these shapes, we're going to decide, is it less than 1/2? Is it more than 1/2? Or is it equal to 1/2? So let's take a look at the circle first, the shaded part. In my mind, as I look at the whole of a circle, I think half of it, the line would be right there. So my decision would be that is greater than 1/2. I don't know what it is, but it's greater than 1/2. Now the rectangle down here, you could have divided it in half in your mind this way, straight down, or straight across. But any way you look at it, to me, this looks like it is less than 1/2 of that rectangle. And the last one, the triangle, the only way to divide it in half is from here to here. If you go this way, your pieces aren't the same. They aren't equal. So you'd have to go this way in your mind, and it's just a smidge less than 1/2. So our benchmark that we were judging everything by was 1/2. Okay? Now you're going to need this sheet, your poster that you made, which is in your workbook, and you're going to need Math Journal, page 235, and a pencil. So go get those, pause the video and go get those things. All right. Math Journal, page 235, the top of it has a chart like this. It has a column for less than 1/2, equal to 1/2, greater than 1/2. And it also has a little box that explains and reminds you to remember what the equal sign is, what the greater than sign is, and what the less than sign is. So make sure you look at that. The directions want you're going to use that other page that you had, your poster, which is, this is my poster. And first you're going to write down all the fractions that you see that are less than 1/2 in this column. Okay? Less than 1/2. For example, 1/4 would go in this one. If I'm looking on my chart, I would find 1/2 right here, and 1/3 is less than it, 1/4. So write down the ones. Remember how I told you to put the ruler on your chart? Do that by 1/2 and then count all the ones that are less than it and write them in your column. Then the middle column is for the fractions that are equal to. And the last one is the greater than fractions. And I want at least 3 in here, 3 in here, and 3 in here. Okay? So that's how you're going to fill out the chart at the top. And then you're going to use that chart at the top to answer questions. For example, question number 2 says, choose 2 fractions that are less than 1/2 from your chart and write them down. Of these 2 fractions, which one is closer to 0? And how do you know it's closer to 0? Use your number line to tell me. How do I know it's closer to 0? It sounds hard, but it isn't hard. Just pretend you're explaining it to someone who knows nothing about the number line. So tell me how you know, how your eyes knew when your eyes looked at the number line. What did your brain think to show you that it was less than 1/2? Okay? Write a number sentence that compares the 2 fractions you wrote down. So that part you're going to write greater than, less than, or equal to. All right, number 3, choose 2 fractions that are greater than 1/2. And then you're going to say which one is closer to 1. And how do you know? And then write a number sentence to go with it. Okay? So you're working on that math journal page today, 235. Then you are going to go back to a math box page 234 and work on that for me. Let me page back and see if there are any questions about anything. One thing that I forgot to let you know, and I've told a few of you on Seesaw, is that the order of operations rule is when you have one of those long number sentences, if there's no parentheses, do multiplication or division first before you do addition or subtraction. Multiplication and division are big bosses and they have to be taken care of first. So that's the order of operations. All right, page 234. Looks to me like on number 2, you have to circle more than 1. Other than that, I think you're going to be okay on that one. The other thing I want you to do today is play some Top It. Go into your Everyday Math app, go under Top It, and then it'll have Top It fractions, and there's a whole bunch of different Top It fraction games to play. So have some fun with that. All right. I think that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions. See you later.